We're not waiting for legislation, we're actually doing it anyway. We're decarbonising right now our cement and our concrete, and we're passing that through right now to everybody. And I just think you don't have to wait. Every individual can make a difference.
So as you run through your design process, you're effectively specifying materials. From the earliest stages of design, VQuest can actually give you feedback on those materials, even when they're just conceptual, allowing you to run comparative analysis of different materials to see which is the best material use in that type of building or in that methodology that you're designing.
The carbon footprint and whole of life stories slowly starting to emerge, and we're all starting to get our heads around, kind of what that means in terms of the life cycle of the product and the building. And then the performance of the building during the life of the building. And the Europeans are certainly leading the charge in this space, but we're scrambling and learning very fast.
So carbon life cycle analysis is quite complicated because it involves a number of different modules. You've got embodied carbon, which is the carbon that's emitted in the construction of the building. But then you've also got operational carbon, so the electrical systems in your building, potentially solar panels, heat pump systems, and the operational cost and the replacement cost or maintenance cost of those systems as well. So it can get quite complex.
When you look at the carbon, embodied carbons in building a new building, and the embodied carbons that would be involved if you just renovated an existing building, the embodied carbons that are used are a lot less.
But it's also driving innovation because concrete and steel aren't going to just give up and walk away. We've got some fantastic things like Firth concrete, looking at low potash concrete, which will reduce the carbon that's in their concrete. So already they're starting to innovate and figure out ways that they can reduce their carbon.
You are getting at least a 10 to 20% less carbon from that. We use the ISC, Infrastructure Sustainability Council baseline. And you're getting that all day, every day. People often say to me, what's the difference between our standard concrete and your low carbon concrete? Well, guess what? You're getting it anyway. You're getting low carbon. We've made all these decarbonisation of both the cement and the concrete. And we're passing that through. You're getting it anyway.
There are bio-enhanced products that Kingspan are looking at, and Planet Passionate, reducing carbon, becoming carbon zero by 2030 is actually a fundamental Kingspan goal. So the whole business all around the world is focused on reducing carbon wherever we can. And that's through our own manufacturing procedures and through the third parties and the transport. And we sort of look at every aspect of reducing carbon.
Golden Bay have done an amazing job. They've actually displaced just over 50% of their use of coal to heat their furnace. And they're using materials from landfill. So all that timber waste that you chuck in the bin, we're using that. They are burning over 3 million used tyres. So they call them WELT, waste end-of-life tyres. New Zealand produces 6 million used tyres every year. So Golden Bay take just over 3 million of those, they chip it up, and they use that to burn, to get their furnace up to about 1400 degrees Celsius, which is what they need to change the limestone into clinker, which is what they would then grind to make cement.